Hey everybody! Well, today we're going to take a look at this brand new set from Lego. This is the Star Wars BD-1 droid. Now this just came out on August 1st of 2022, and this is the cute, adorable little robot from the Jedi Fallen Order video game. In fact, I think BD-1 may very well be the cutest droid that Star Wars has ever come out with. If you can find clips of him on YouTube here, you got to check him out. He's super cute. Now I'm thinking that this is probably going to be close to full size because he's not a very big guy. He's a small little robot and he's really cute. This is set number 75335 and it has 1,062 pieces. Now on the back here we can see a different stance where he's standing. His head does pivot forward and backward and side to side, as we can see here, and also you can adjust his legs which way you want them, forward or backward. I don't know how stable he's going to be if you move those around too much. He's probably mostly going to be for display, I would guess. The knees don't bend, and there might be a little bit of pivoting on his feet. I'll have to see. Another thing that's really cool is they added this health stim. It's like a little drawer that pops out and the little health stims are in there. You can see those in the video game. But I think that's a really cool feature that they added. Alright, well, I think this will be a really fun set to build. So let's take a look at the parts. Alright, so there are 8 bags total because there's actually 3 bags of number 3. So this is a relatively small set. I mean, it does have over 1,000 pieces, but it just doesn't seem like there's a whole lot here to build him. I'm guessing he's probably mostly hollow in the head area. Here is the only sticker in the set. It's this name plaque that gives you all the little stats on there. So thankfully, there's only one sticker in this set. Here's the instruction book, and Lego's been doing these plain books lately. I don't know, I guess they're okay, but I know it's bothering some people. So let's see. This has, it kind of shows you here how the first 3 bags do the lower half of him, and then the rest of it does the upper part of him, the head. Very interesting looking stuff going on here. He's got a lot of Technic on him, and some people aren't going to like all the Technic. I personally don't have a problem with Technic. I think it's kind of fun. You can see his legs are going to have a lot of it. So anyway, should be a pretty fun build. Alright, well, we'll take a look at him when he's all finished. And here he is, all complete now. And man, I love this. I absolutely love this. He looks really, really good. He was really fun to build. Nothing crazy or weird about the build. I just think everything went together really nice, but here you can see he looks just excellent. I mean, Lego really pulled this off considering what an unusual droid that BD-1 is. Now, I would say he's smaller than actual size. I think the real, I mean, it's hard to tell since it was a video game, but I'm guessing maybe the real BD-1 may be this tall and maybe, this much wider in the head or something. But, I think the size on this is actually pretty darn good, actually. Now let's take a look at some of the details on him. Let's start with the name plaque here. So here you can see all the details of BD-1 here. You can pause that and read it if you'd like. So that was the only sticker in the set. I do wish Lego would stop with these stickers when it comes to these big plates, these nameplate things. I kind of wish they would just print those. I think they've done that once before, so they proved that they can do it. This little minifigure of BD-1 is really cute. I just absolutely love how cool this looks. I think there was another set that came with a BD type droid, but I think this is the first time we get one with the red detailing like BD-1 actually has. Alright, let's take a look at his head now. We can see that we've got the nice little eyes in here. I kind of have the nice looking lens. There's a blue piece right there that has that nice looking blue in there. Those little sections right in here are kind of cool, the way they made that look. These little sections here are actually just hinges. I mean, you can just kind of flip that up if you want, but that's how those are attached. And on the side here, got some nice red detailing going on. His little antennas. These antennas can turn, so you can adjust those the way you want them. I really like the way they did the lighting back here. If you look at BD-1 in the game, he's got all these cool blinking bluish lights back there, which I think is pretty neat. Also, this detailing back here looks really good. I really like that. Those are each 4 separate little things that you put together. And this little thing also kind of just flips up. It's also on a hinge that goes this way. You can kind of see it from the side here. So it just kind of clips in place right there. And here on the side is this detailing as well. On the front of his chest we have some greebling that's really nice. This whole middle section right here was pretty solid. There's a lot of stuff going on in there. That's the first part that you build, and there's an amazing amount of parts that go into this middle section because you also got all these hinges and stuff in there. Here along the side, on the back as well, a little more greebling going on. You can see how his legs are attached. Those are really nice solid hinge pieces, and I'll show you how those can bend here in just a minute. I like his legs because they're kind of reminiscent of R2-D2's legs, which I think is kind of cool in the design. So whoever designed BD-1 must have kind of kept the overall design pattern of droids in general, as far as like, you know, R2-D2, because you can kind of tell they really took some cues from R2-D2 or R2 units type of legs. So it's kind of cool how they kind of try to stay, you know, somewhat canon with the design. Here's those cool wires. Now when you put those in, if you don't twist them a little bit, you're not going to get that nice little kind of pattern. If you just put them in the way they are, they're just going to have like two curves. If you twist them a little bit, you're going to get this kind of interesting looking, kind of twisted look to them, which I think looks more like it's supposed to. So you have to twist those a little bit to get that look. Now here's his feet. And you can see the way they did this. Now this little back section here is actually, let's see if I can lift him. It's actually like a little, see how those kind of pivot? And I also like how they made that little, it's like a little piston or something back there. So they don't actually, like the whole foot doesn't, you know, turn from side to side like that. But that's fine, because he's got to be pretty solid. Also the knees do not bend or adjust. They are set in place just like that, but that's fine. He's got just a little bit of, you know, posability, but I'm not really sure you'd really like to mess with it too much, just because, you know, it'll make him a little unstable, because he's a little wobbly as it is. I mean, if I pull back here, you can kind of see, you know, he's not like horribly wobbly, but he's not like the most stable thing either. I mean, you can see I can kind of rock him around a little bit, because his head's got some weight to it as well. Here on the side as well. So you can kind of see how the neck is adjusted, and his head is adjustable as well. And I also like those little post-like things on the side that add some detailing as well. Okay, now let's look at his head here. Now you can actually adjust his head, you know, side to side like this. So you can kind of give him that kind of puppy dog look where he's got his head tilted, which makes him look really cute. Now it doesn't actually nod forward, you know, and it doesn't turn either, just because of the way that connection is. But that connection, let me see how this is done. You can actually adjust the tilt. You know, you can click it to make it look like he's looking down, like that. So it does have that ratcheted section in there. And I don't know, I kind of get a little uneasy feeling about the way that clicks like that. It just feels a little, I'm not really sure I like the way that is. It's a little bit scary pulling on that. I'm not sure I like that. Also, his legs here, you can see they actually have you can click these, let's see, from side to side. You can actually tip it so that if you want his legs to be more kind of like spread out, maybe give him a more natural kind of look to him like that, which is kind of neat. I think that's actually pretty nice that you can do that. Now his legs, let me see, you can turn them, you can probably go pretty far with it, about that far, with which way these angle. It's got the ratcheted connection there as well. Now, let's see, does this turn? I don't think. Oh yeah, you can turn these. These click. But see, now the problem with it is that it makes them very unstable. I mean, you can move his feet forward, but there's no really good way to make him stand. I mean, if you have him backed up a little bit, you know, see, it just makes him so that he's not stable. So I think most people are just going to keep him in the standard straightforward kind of look. But you can angle his feet outward, like I showed you. But, you know, I don't know, it's a little bit wonky. But he's not the most stable looking droid anyway. And, you know, that's kind of the problem with some of the Star Wars droids. Even like R2-D2, you think, how practical is the design? And sometimes the design just isn't practical. But in a video game, when you see him running around and jumping around, it looks totally natural. But in the actual physical world, it doesn't necessarily always work out right. The upper legs, when you're building this section right here, it's actually kind of like a cover that covers the Technic sections in there. But there's a surprising amount of pieces that go into making this kind of a shell thing on both sides. As you're building it, you're just like, wow, there's kind of a lot to that. But it is a very satisfying feeling once you snap those on to cover the Technic. Now, this section here is the little drawer that slides open and close. You can see it goes like that. And these are those little health stims or healing stims. And I kind of sometimes have a hard time getting this open all the way. And then it's hard to get the stims out once you got them in there. So it seems like it gets a little caught right about there, and you have to kind of push it a little bit more to get it to come all the way out. See, like that? And that's as far as it does come out, but then it's hard to kind of get your fingers in here to get those out, but I'll show you what they look like. So here's what these little stims look like. They're pretty neat looking. They got these 3 little gel packets in there, and you see him use these in the game. You know, he shoots them out of the side of him, and people use them to inject into their body, and it kind of gives them like a healing, you know, like medicine or something, and they just fit right in here. And then you can just kind of slide the drawer shut, if I can get a hold of this. So it's easy to slide it shut, but like I said, sometimes it gets stuck. But that might be just mine. Maybe it's something I did wrong. So there we have it, cute little BD-1, and he really is pretty cute. If you are not familiar with the game, go on YouTube and just plug in BD-1 Fallen Order, and you'll see a couple of clips. I think a couple of nice content creators had put some of the best clips of BD-1 on there. And he is so cute when you see him. He's like a little puppy dog or a little cat kind of combined together. And there's just some neat there's a neat moment involving one of his previous owners. And he's just a very helpful little droid that comes along and helps the main character in this. But I think this set is absolutely fantastic. I knew as soon as I saw this, I wanted to get it, even though I wasn't familiar with the game or anything. But you know how I love robots, and I do. I think he's such a cool one. And you know, they've made Lego's made several of these buildable robot figures, including 2 different versions of R2-D2 and Dio, which I've done videos on all of those. And let's see, BB-8. They also made a BB-8. But you know, the problem with R2-D2 and BB-8 is they have R2-D2's got the round dome and BB-8's got the ball-shaped body, and it's hard for Lego to get a round surface. They don't quite have pieces yet to make you know, a ball shape or a dome shape without making it look jagged. The good thing about BD-1 here is he doesn't have, you know, like a round shape to him. And any roundness, they do have pieces to make like these kinds of areas. But I think they've managed to pull this off really, really well. And I don't know, I got to say it's one of my favorite sets. I'm not really buying that many Lego sets anymore because they've gotten so expensive and their prices just went up on August 1st. And it's really kind of priced me out of this hobby now. So I have to be really picky about the sets that I buy. But he was $100, which I think is a pretty good price. I think the other buildable figures like BB-8 was $100 as well, and I think R2 was a little bit more, but he probably had more pieces too. But I think for $100 this is pretty good. Maybe a little cheaper since he's not that big. I wish he was life size. I wish they would have made him, like, you know, taller and maybe more wide. If you watch the game, you can kind of get a better idea of what his size should be. But I think this is pretty good, and it makes it nice and displayable. And because he doesn't have a large footprint, you know, along the horizontal line, it's much easier to display him. You know, he's more tall than he is wide. But I think this is a great set, and if you like the game, or if you're not even a fan of the game, or if you like robots like I do, especially cute little guys like this, well, it's just a must. Alright, well that's it for this review. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. So thank you so much for watching. I very much appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a good one!